Okay everyone, hello, welcome back to FTRL and welcome back to F2 for round 11 of season 10, coming to you from the Circuit of the Americas in America. Joining me tonight in the commentary box as ever, I've got Pagani. Good evening.
Afternoon. I must admit, I did just chuckle. Circuit of America in America.
Just making that clear.
Well, we may be at quarter, but it is looking quite blue skied at the moment, so should be a dry qualifying.
Yeah.
Not so sure.
We'll wait and see. I do know of one driver that was hoping for a bit of a wet track tonight, and that was Hammer Time. He said oddly he feels more secure and planted through the wet than he does the dry, so
I'm going to say, it is a very awkward track to get set up for. It does take a lot of balance, and there's a lot of different sections. There's fast, there's slow, there's medium speed, it's a bit of everything, so
yes.
the car's not really set up for all of it.
I was going to say, that's what they sort of had in mind when they designed this place. Just sort of took the best bits of multiple circuits and mashed it all together.
Took the best bits of every circuit and still messed up a good track. Like in my opinion, it doesn't flow at all. It's just missing something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely missing something.
Well, there are certain things that can happen tonight. So Joe Burns and Deneen have already clinched promotion. So congratulations to those guys. I don't think it's been mentioned until now. I mean, I certainly didn't notice it until about an hour ago, and I do the tables for God's sake, so yeah.
Oh, where is Goy? Goy has gone off at the last corner. Don't get disqualified, Goy. Don't do it. I don't know how he ended up over. It was in the gravel at the far right hand side of the last corner, and I'm thinking, how did he get over there?
Yeah, well, with Goy and... Sorry, not Goy. With Joe and Deneen being promoted already, that leaves us one promotion spot open. Nexus Iceman is currently sat in it. He is 23 points ahead of Hijacked and 24 points ahead of T. Smith. So if he manages to finish in front of both of those two drivers tonight, he will clinch the third promotion spot before we race next week.
Well, I mean, we have seen him have some dominant displays as Monaco this season, so, I mean, he's got it in him. So, however, let's say here, I think Cat is going to be probably our first driver to set a time. He does tend to be the first driver out of the pits. .132.8 on the soft tyre.
Usurped immediately by Deneen, who goes a second faster.
Well, Deneen straight out on the soft tyre, so make no bones about it, he's going to be starting on the soft tyre tonight, I believe.
So I think that's committed to that.
Nexus Cat's going quicker than Cat, so we have a Cat fight again, currently in P2, P3. City Porsche and FTRL Hammer Times going first runs on the hard tyre, which, yeah, it proves it's definitely the slower tyre around here.
Now, you speaking of City Posh, I do hope he gets a slice of good fortune tonight.
I hope he has his wing for like at least a stint. Like, I don't think I've seen it this season, and most of last. He's probably the most unlucky guy I've ever seen. Like, his day job must be going out and kicking black cats while walking on the ladders.
Yeah, I reckon you're going to get a message from Aaron in a minute in the chat going, wait, hang on.
I mean, Aaron has had a bad season, but like City Porsches had like a season and a half of it, so. Oh, Guy's gone back out, so obviously that spin at the last corner hasn't affected him too badly.
Yeah, he's gone for the medium tyre this time round, has he?
He has indeed. And Mr. Joe Burns, our championship leader, is on the soft tyre. Might be looking to try and cover off the knee. Yeah, we have seen Joe pick up a pole position this season.
We have. That was Italy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so. Oh, he has it in him, but he's gone very wide through the first sector, so. Might not be this lap.
Well,
Oh, God.
I was going to say, Joe's normally a fan of qualifying on a harder compound and running the soft one at the end of the race. But, like you say, with Deneen being where he is at the moment and Joe within touching distance of the title, he might start thinking every point I can get I'm gonna go for.
Might well do.
I mean, there is a very small chance that Joe could wrap this up tonight. He basically needs Deneen not to get pole and then DNF, and Joe would have to win the race.
Oh, Joe on this lap has caught up the Nexus Aspect, who's currently in AI mode, so he's going to catch him at the worst place.
And that car's carried on. Joe's backed out. He's gone to pits.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got Lee hijacked Liam. We've got Napler back in the chat, so always nice to see Napler in the chat. However, Liam has his PlayStation working at uni and he has internet, so might be making a comeback for the last race of the season next week. Oh, the Nexus Aspect has retired.
Yeah, his car's pulled off to the side of the track, out of turn 1.
I had word from onto the podium saying he's going for the aggressive setup today, so currently hasn't set a lap time, but I mean, when he tends to say he's going aggressive, it means no one's going to overtake him. So I'll have like 1-2 wings, so it's quick in a straight line, and Doug slow through the corners, but that's what we'll
I was going to say, it'll be an absolute boat through the corners.
As long as he can stop it on an apex, he's happy. Well, currently we've only got 9 cars with certain times. Everyone else is just sort of either had traffic or had a wiggle.
T Smith's just coming round the triple apex right hander into turn 19 and he's pitting. Thought he was going to set a time on the medium, but he's decided against that.
Well, T Smith has looked very good since he's come up from F3 this season. And looks like he's going to be a regular challenger next season. Well, Aaron is definitely watching, and he has pizza, so he's happy.
Well, we've got Metzer back in the car tonight.
We do indeed, a very rare sight.
I was going to say, he's been missing for a couple of weeks, so good to see him back on the grid.
I mean, I'm surprised Sunderland fans still exist, so... I mean, it has to be one, doesn't there? So... yeah. Aaron's gone with a prediction before qualifying's even finished. Well, for Hijack to win, Deneen P2 and T Smith P3. And it's an interesting goal.
It is, as prototype Steph pops himself into P3.
I mean, Steph hasn't had the best of seasons trying to move to no assists, but he has shown flashes. Like, that there is still the old Steph in there. It's just figuring it all together. He does have this 1 or 2, maybe 3 laps of pace, followed by a half spin usually, but it is still there. I mean, I was corrected last week. I said he lagged out. He didn't. His PlayStation just turned off completely. So he hasn't sorted that issue yet, but...
Yeah, well, Rom and Metzer have just gone quicker, both into P2, P3 respectively. I mean, there's a fairly tight cluster, sort of from P2 down to P7, but Deneen's still quite a way out in front at the moment.
It is indeed. Just round up. Go kart. Currently at P9. P10. As onto the podium, just jumps into P8 on the medium there. Academies has gone out on the medium tyre after setting an early lap on the soft tyre. So, whether he's trying something or just wants to get another lap on the track before he does another run on the soft at the end.
Yeah, maybe just seeing how that medium feels before he commits.
Well, next Iceman has left pit lane on the hard tyre, so it'll be very difficult to qualify inside the top 10 on the hard tyre, I believe. But this grid is very close.
Yeah, well, we saw last night in the F1 race that Danny qualified on, well, he didn't qualify on the hard tyre, he started on the hard tyre from outside the top 10 and he ended up P3 on the road but dropped down after time penalties.
Yeah, that seems to be Danny's only issue. He's a bit of a naughty boy when it comes to corner cuts, so it has seemed to plague him for a while.
Well, Katamise is going for a lap. He stayed out, so he starts a flying lap now.
I wonder if any of the F2 boys watched the F1 race and are a bit wary of safety cars now. I mean, if you do have a penalty and that safety car comes out at the end, we've seen what it does do. I mean, a 3-lap shootout last night and everybody had a penalty drop to the back end of the top 10. Whereas someone like Kawandi jumped from P12 to P6, so...
Oh, there we go. T. Smith has just gone provisional pole.
He has, and it's very close between the top 2 now. It looks like the Neen definitely has a challenge on to try and get pole position today.
Yeah, well, T. Smith, I think he took pole position last week in Hungary, if I'm not mistaken.
He did. He was on the soft tyre, which sort of hindered his race a little bit, but... I mean, there's a lot more guys starting on the soft tyre in this race.
So. Oh, that's a corner cut from Cat.
I was going to say, I just jumped on board with Cat and that looked very optimistic, shall we say, for track limits. Next Iceman has come back into pit, so he didn't fancy doing a lap on the hard tyre.
Yeah.
And then put in the chat, can everyone just ignore that I don't know how the pit entry works here? So I don't know what he did, but I'm going to guess it wasn't good.
Well, as it is, only Iceman and Joe Burns are yet to set a lap time. But Joe Burns currently on track on the medium tyre, so he is going to go with that sort of middle compound start. That's if he can break into the top 10.
No, I was going to say everybody has in the top 10 has a There is softs fitted, however, faster times, City Porsche on the podium and Hijack are all on the medium tyre in top 10 currently. But yeah, I think some of these boys will be coming out on the soft tyre trying to improve, because I don't think Hijack especially will be happy with P10. He does normally qualify in the top 5, so... Alright, there is a lot of cars exiting pit lane currently. So,
Yeah, well, Deneen is just coming around the final couple of corners as he winds up for his final run. So we'll follow this lap, see how it develops.
I'm going to keep an eye on Mr. Joe Burns, see if he invalidates, because if he does, he doesn't have very long left in this session. He won't be able to get any more fresh tyres. Goy has retired from this session. I mean, he was still in the pits, so I don't know if he didn't want to go out and set the lap or just didn't get out in time.
City Posh Blues improved up to P3 with 31.9.
And the sector 2 Joe's run very wide into that very tight section. I mean, he has to commit to this lap. Around the last corner.
Well, Deneen currently a 10.5 up on his previous best time.
Joe put it in P10, but has immediately been knocked out of the top 10. He's down to 11th.
Well, Hijack's just gone up to P4 on a 32.1. Deneen into the penultimate corner.
Has backed out, so he's not going for another lap. So,
oh, Deneen all crossed up into the final corner. Yep, that cost him.
well, T Smith has just started a lap.
Yep, we'll pick up T Smith.
Can he go even quicker? Well, Cat is currently backwards.
Yep, he invalidated. I thought he might have done.
Oh, Exercise Man did try and set a lap on the medium, but he is also just invalidated, so it's no time from the man currently third in the standings.
Yeah, and with the two guys he needs to beat currently sitting on provisional pole and in P4, he's going to have a big job on his hands.
Steph's gone! Oh! In the sector 2. Just got on the throttle a little bit early.
Oh, Nexus Cats improves his time and goes P6.
Hammer Time's coming into pit lane. Onto the podium, coming at the last corner. I think he's our last man.
So I think that's going to be it. He improves P4.
P4. Another one to knock Joe Burns down. Joe Burns is down in 12th place. He is feeling a little bit under the weather. It has to be said. He's not 100% fit at the moment, but...
Yeah, well that's it for qualifying, and T Smith takes back-to-back pole positions.
Does indeed, with a very small gap at the front. I mean, front three are very close. And the rest of them aren't that far behind it. I mean, Deneen had a big gap for quite a while.
I was going to say the top seven's only separated by half a second.
Yeah. The rest of the field definitely caught up. Onto the podium asking how did he manage that. I was hoping that you'd know, considering you drove the lap, but I mean, yeah, an exercise man is not happy with himself currently. Give himself a lot of work to do starting P16.
Well, there's plenty of overtaking opportunities available, so you know, as long as he can make that work for him.
Really, especially if you've got a quick car in a straight line. I mean, oh, is that overcast?
It's not as overcast as F1 was.
I mean, F1 looked fairly blue skied on my screen, but you know, I might have had a tinted visor. I don't know. Now, I've just seen a comment in the chat from Mr. Lee Cole. When you say Joe's unwell, do you mean that the batteries in his remote are running low? In the meantime, he's come back with Deneen for the win, T. Smith second, and hijacked P3. Anyone else with a podium prediction, drop it in the chat and I shall try and read it out. I'm not very good at it, but I do try. Oh, formation lap it is.
Yeah, so we've got T. Smith on pole for the second week in a row. Found some good one lap pace at the end of the season, so he's got that to go along with the race pace that he showed in F3 at the opening half of this season. Deneen in P2, that's going to do him a bit of a favour against Joe. Hope to keep the championship going to the final race in Brazil. City Posh with a positive qualifying performance. It's not normally qualifying that's his problem. It tends to be incidents in the race, so hopefully he can avoid those tonight. Onto the podium, starting up in P4. Notoriously difficult to overtake this man, so the guys sitting behind him are going to have a job on their hands. Hijacked in the fight for that final promotion spot, starting P5, so he's battling with T. Smith on pole and Nexus Iceman down in 16th, so that's not a bad place to be, P5. Rom Elson with a decent qualifying up in P6, scored his first points in F2 last week, so he'll be hoping to build on that. Nexus Cats, sort of where he usually qualifies, so he'll be happy with P7 I think, and he'll be looking to make strides forward early on.
Oh,
Metzer with a half pirouette. Yep. Making his return after a couple of weeks away, so he'll be looking for a positive return. Finish the season off strongly. Hammer time P9. An okay qualifying for him. I don't think he'll be too disheartened with that, but again, he said he wasn't as steady in the dry as he was the wet. Prototype Steph in P10. Solid enough performance from him. He'll just be hoping to keep the car on the straight and narrow and score some points. Cat and Joe Burns in 11th and 12th. They're going to look to move forward. Cat's normally very quick off the start, so keep an eye on him early on. Goykarp 14th with Spike in 14th, and then Nexus Suspect and Nexus Iceman bringing up the back of the grid.
Well, I want to keep an eye on a very fast starting Cat. And I mean, there is overtaking at the turn 1, so I want to keep an eye on him.
Okay, well, round 11 of season 10 is underway. We've got a drive-through for Nexus Aspect. He's jumped the start. Metzer looks like he's got a strong start in the background there. T. Smith holding the inside against Deneen.
Oh, how many times lagged out? Oh, hijacked half spun. I'm not sure if that was contact.
I'm not sure either, but onto the podiums, up into P3. Metz are up to P4, Katz is P5.
Oh, Cat and Rom Elson are coming together at the end of the fast S section, resulting in a Rom spin. Look very similar to my incident with Ox last night. Hammer Time's driving back, but Steph's in the wall. I think he's behind the DHL banner. But he has retired from the session, unfortunately. Oh, hijacked.
City Posh up the inside of Katz at the end of the straight.
And hijacked has just overtaken an exercise man at the end of the straight.
City Posh and Katz are still side by side through the loop section. And Katz gets run out of road. And City Posh is through.
I must say, Cat had a very quiet start, but he has just moved himself through the field. But he's brought Joe Burns with him. So. And behind them is Gory Carp. A flyer a start up to P9. Has just run wide with Hijack right behind him, so I expect some movement between those two. Yeah, Hijack up inside at turn 1.
Right, onto the podium, doing his first piece of defending for the evening against Metzer into turn 1.
This may be a long running battle, I believe.
Yeah, well, Metzer's had a brilliant start and he looks quite quick early on.
Well, I believe Nexus Aspect has served his drive-through penalty. Oh, Nexus Carts, what's happened? He's had a wiggle. He's dropped 6 places. Coming out the S section again. Oh, the yellow flag sector 2.
Now, Metzer was looking at the back of onto the podium. He's now looking in his mirrors at City Posh Blue.
I say Metzer's gone very defensive. City Posh.
Oh, that's big contact.
Well, I said, during that, Deneen was also trying to have a look up the inside of T. Smith for a race lead.
So Metzer's dropped down to P6 after that incident. It doesn't look like he's lost any wing, but he won't be happy there.
Deneen's definitely looking the quicker out of himself and T. Smith currently. However, Deneen is using no ERS on a straight line.
Well, neither is T. Smith at the moment.
So, I mean, in a straight line is probably the one place that I wouldn't say VRS, but
yeah, T. Smith is going to be needing it for the back straight because Deneen is going to have DRS on him and T. Smith could be a sitting duck at the end of that straight.
Well, FTRL Hammerham has managed to get back into his car this time, so P12. Oh, Joe Burns has just got past Metzer at a place that isn't really normally an overtaking spot, but Metzer's fighting back into the hairpin before the straight. No, we're going to wait for DRS. Oh, Metzer's also getting attacked by Hijack at this moment. Metzer's in a lot of battles at the moment. Hijack trying to go around the outside. Joe Burns runs very wide in front of these two. Oh, what's happened to Goy? Goy's lost 2 places there. I'm not sure what happened. Both Haas cars have got down his inside. As Metzer and Hijack are still fighting. However, Katami is in a very good position at the moment. P5, 1.6 to the car in front, and he's on the medium tyre.
I think Metzer's going to have a look into turn 1. Hijack goes defensive.
Well, both of these guys battling have also caught Joe Burns in the meantime, so I'm not sure. Joe have a couple of struggles, couple of wiggles, running wide a little bit. I'm not sure he's happy with the setup at the moment, whether it just doesn't like his medium tyres, I'm not sure. But Meta picks up a penalty.
Oh. Onto the podium has his mirrors full of Toro Rosso, being piloted by City Posh Blue.
I said Deneen is closer this lap. Looked up the guys in the grass in the S section. He's still got his front wing on.
Deneen's having a look. He's up the inside. City Posh is up the inside of onto the podium.
City Posh around the outside of onto the podium. If he can keep it there is a possibility. No,
doesn't send it. Thought better of that move.
Oh, contact between Hijack and Metzer. Bit of needle in this battle, I believe. There was contact earlier on and still contact
Metzer's run wide. That's allowed Hijack back through.
Oh, Metzer's gone!
Yep. Oh, in a
He's
big
upside
way.
down. It's a good job that car has a roll cage. A roll cage? A roll loop. That was a fairly spectacular incident.
Well, Deneen and T. Smith were side by side in turn 1, but T. Smith's held on to it. City Posh Blue has got ahead of onto the podium and has fed him to Catamies.
I'm not sure what was up with Goy there, but he went through his teammate's ghosted car and then stopped on pit entry. He did eventually go into the pits. I don't know if he was trying to change his tyres with Jeff or...
Oh, Catamies just lost his front wing. I'm not sure what happened there.
I've just seen City Porsche wiggling as if to say, what was that in front of these guys? Oh. Cat has not stopped.
Yeah.
There's contact with himself at the podium on the exit.
So onto the podium's got wing damage as well.
Joe Burns is trying to thread the needle between these guys.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some words exchanged after the race about that.
Well, Joe's got through and so has Hijacked. However, Cat sat on those medium tyres.
Well, he's going to have to go onto the hard from there.
Yeah.
As we're onto the podium.
As will Nexus Cats.
Well, while we were watching all of that, Deneen has got past T. Smith for the lead.
I'm still mesmerised at what just happened. Hope Metz is finally gone. He's had enough. After watching his car go upside down. Right, it's understandable. Oh, well, Rom's back in the pits. Or into the pits for the first time, I don't know. I know he spun early on.
Oh, T. Smith's got a run on Deneen. He's ahead before the braking zone.
Yellow flag sector 3. As far as I'm aware, nobody's in sector 3. But Nexus Iceman has just got past Hijack, but they're side by side. Iceman on the harder tyre. Hijack trying to keep it around the outside, goes off track to do so.
Now, what you've got to remember is Iceman started from 16th.
He did indeed.
And he's already battling one of the guys he's in a fight with for promotion.
Oh, Gory's had a wiggle coming on the straight.
Yep, Hijack's had to go defensive to turn 1.
How many times in the box? No front wing change and he's gone back out on another set of soft tyres. Matt Claus has joined the stream, so hi Matt. Hashtag Danish Cupid.
Well, onto the podium, and Catamies are renewing hostilities.
Side by side through the S section. I mean, they're still side by side, these boys. They don't usually get on, but I mean, that's a great piece of driving from them. That was.
Saying Hammer Time's there behind him on a fresh set of soft tyres.
Well, league owner has come in with a statement. Joe Burns is so overrated. I can't repeat it a bit, but on the podium and Cat's still battling.
Yeah, and Hammer Time behind, just keeping a watching brief.
Iceman and Hijack have returned serve, and Hijack's got him into turn 1. He's onto the podium, picks up a penalty. Hijack and Iceman trying to do what on the podium and Cat did the last lap. I mean, Hijacked and Nexus Iceman were right on the back of Joe Burns earlier on. Now there's a 5-second gap.
Well, Cat onto the podium and side by side through the S's again. Oh, onto the podium, spun. And Hammer Time is.
Oh!
Oh.
One of the podium rejoined the circuit, and Ron was coming through. And luckily he avoided it, otherwise it was going to be a massive collision. Oh, guys, lost it coming up the straight. That's a shame. It's sad to see Guy retire.
Yeah, his car's on the exit of turn 11.
Hijacked an Iceman again.
Catamy's coming back at Hammer Time.
T. Smith's in the pits. Hijacked is also in the pits. T. Smith going up the medium tyre. It's asking a lot of them. As Hijack goes out in the hard tyre.
So Hijacked rejoins comfortably ahead of Catamies and Hammer Time, who are battling over the last point as it stands.
Well, I mean, I would think that T. Smith should have a gap on Deneen when Deneen comes in, just through the undercut. But, I mean, medium tyres from now to the end is going to be difficult. Oh, spikes round. Not the left-hander that finishes the S section.
No damage to the car, just to his pride.
Oh, Hammer Time is right in the back of Cat. When he has no battery left.
Yep.
He has 2%. Deneen and City Porsche pit. City Porsche is having a very underrated race at the moment. Currently he's at overall P3. So City Porsche and Deneen both out with a medium tyre.
Oh. So T. Smith is well ahead. Yep. Deneen has rejoined behind Nexus Aspect, who hasn't pitted yet, as T. Smith picks up a time penalty.
And City Porsche has come up behind Nexus Cats. Nexus Cats has already pitted, but he's on the soft tyre, so he will owe us another pit stop. In the meantime, Mr. Joe Burns is now leading the race.
Yeah, and Iceman, who started last, is running P2.
No, Aspect is trying to get closer to Deneen, but
Deneen
has overtaken him with DRS.
Deneen's got past him as
Yeah.
City Posh gets past the Cats.
Oh, well, Guy got wing damage early on, then had a massive wiggle coming out with a hairpin coming on the straight. So. Unlucky for Guy. We'll be looking to go for bigger and better things next season, I believe. Rumours of a championship challenge next season for Guy. You heard it here first. It was spiked enters pit lane. Nexus Cats picks up a penalty. Trying to stay on the back of City Porsche. I mean, City Porsche has got a 5.5 second gap to hijacked at the moment.
Yeah, well, our current championship and race leader isn't in a bad position at the moment. So he's currently got 10 seconds on the guys that have already pitted. I mean, that gap's coming down rapidly all the time, but that's expected. But he's going to be much quicker at the end of this race on that fresh, soft tyre, you would assume.
He is indeed. I mean, it's the same strategy I tried to finish off yesterday, and I mean, it was me, Aaron, and a couple of others, and I think we're all setting the fastest lap each one that crossed the line. So it does definitely seem the quicker strategy to me. But as Deneen just proved me wrong by going fastest on the medium tyre. But Hammer Time is still behind Cat, which is a little surprising.
Yeah, and
obviously he's struggling with ERS, but
you've got onto the podium, who, despite having that spin, has pretty much caught up to the back of that fight. He's within DRS range now, so we'll go and join that battle.
Well, in the meantime, City Porsche, who dispensed with Nexus Cats a couple of laps previous, has caught up right up to the back of Nexus Aspect. So I'd expect to move down the straight.
Well, Hammer Time has now recovered a bit of battery as he massively cuts one of the corners in the S section.
City Porsche up the inside of Aspect on the straight. Fairly simple manoeuvre, puts him back onto the back of Deneen. But I mean, Deneen to City Porsche coming into pits was less than 2 seconds. Who Aspect sent it on City Porsche.
Oh.
City Porsche sort of coming on to the switchback.
Onto the podium's going to go around the outside of Hammer Time. We'll have a look anyway. As Hammer Time's hit Cat, lost his front wing.
Was Cat heading towards a wall? I thought he would have saved that, but yeah, it's ended in Cat's retirement. And Hammer Time has fairly big front wing damage on that right hand side. It's a shame for Hammer Time because I do believe this is going to be his last race of the season. Missing the last one through work commitments. So.
Yep. onto the podium has now got Rom for company.
It has indeed been a bit of a race to forget for Rom so far with a couple of spins, but he's back in the points. I mean, I would say that's our only battle on track at the moment, as Hammer Time leaves pit lane.
Yep, with a fresh set of medium boots and a new front wing. So Joe out in front has extended that gap to Iceman to just over 6 seconds, and T Smith is now right behind the Haas. So let's...
Well, I don't think Macro is watching the same race we are. I think he reckons that it was Joe that sent Cat flying.
I was going to say, I think he's got the McLarens mixed up there.
But yeah, I think Deneen picks up a penalty, so I believe that puts him equal with T Smith now.
So I know T Smith does have at least one.
I do believe Joe has just grown into this race. He looked very unstable at the start, but as you say, with Iceman having to defend from T Smith, who's side by side with him currently, he has pulled that gap a little bit. Macro is retracting his statement saying, I obviously meant Hammer Time. Well, I mean, if you meant Hammer Time, you'd have said Hammer Time, but we'll leave that for later. Yeah, you mentioned Rom and on the podium being together. Rom has overtaken on the podium, so with those medium tyres compared to hard tyres, over speed from on the podium, nearly drew him straight into the back of Rom, but he did do well to avoid him. So,
Deneen's going to clear Iceman into turn 1. Overshoots the corner. It allows Iceman back through. So Deneen's now going to have to follow the Haas through the S section.
Up next is Carter's in pit lane. Want to set mediums to go at the end. City Porsche's had a massive wiggle going through that S section. Oh, Deneen up the inside before the straight, so...
Yes, that mistake from Deneen into turn 1 has just given T Smith a little bit of breathing room, because Deneen would have been within DRS range of him had he pulled that overtake off.
But Deneen did get DRS from Iceman, but he has very little battery, does Deneen. Well, since that move has been concluded, Aaron in the chat, #AskComs, from seeing this current lineup, would you agree that there is about 10 drivers who are future F1 drivers and FTRL F2 is so strong now? I'll open the floor to you on that one, because...
I mean, there are some very quick guys in this division, but we can't put them all in F1. I see what Aaron's saying.
I'd say hand on heart, there's at least 5, maybe 6 that are quicker than me outright in here. And I'm an F1, so in theory they will overtake me in time, so... I mean, Deneen is on the back of T Smith now, so this could be a long running battle to the end. Lee has come up with a suggestion. 10 drivers get relegated from F1 next season.
Radical.
I mean... I mean, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard suggested.
Deneen's going to have a go here.
I mean, you had a go, but I mean, it's nice, respectful racing from the pair. No squeezing each of the rock chart.
I was going to say, he had a go, but I don't think that was the full-blooded attack that I was expecting. It was more a sign of intent, I think.
Matt Cause says he's taken a lot of drugs today, that's why he was confused. Cool. I already said he meant over time, not at once.
Yeah, I know, I did say I see what he's saying.
Joe Burns picked up a penalty. I mean, the guys behind are catching him, obviously, on those softer tyres, but... on the same tyres, but fresher, sorry. But... I mean, what, 19 to 22 seconds for a pit stop? Bring what, Joe around hijacked? Maybe just behind him?
Differing lines from T. Smith and Deneen there into turn 11. But Deneen should get this done this time round.
Going on the outside.
I stand corrected.
I said T. Smith holds firm. Obviously the Mercedes driver is passing over defensive driving techniques.
So I think Deneen's running T. Smith running a decent straight line setup.
Oh, and Lee has come in with the disclaimer: don't do drugs, kids. There you go. As Joe Burns enters pit lane.
Drugs are bad, okay?
I would suggest that Joe Burns is going to put the soft tyre on. He does indeed.
Yep, he's going to have a 10 lap blast on those, so see how high he can get up the order. Where's he going to rejoin?
Jones P6 right behind Nexus Aspect, who also split stop. So
yes, that's not bad for Joe.
I would say the gap before the hairpin on the straight, Deneen was 7/10 behind. Coming out of the corner, it looked about 3/10. Deneen tries again up the inside. T. Smith holds it on the outside though. However, Deneen holds it on the outside for the right-hander. You would suggest Deneen has it done, but T. Smith
switches back underneath.
But Deneen holds it to the outside. Very respectful racing from the pair. Oh, T. Smith coming back with Iceman in the pits. Oh, a little bit of contact between T. Smith and Deneen at turn 1. Lee Cole doesn't approve of your Mr. Mackey impression, so... But...
Well, impressions aren't my forte, so... I don't care about Lee Cole's opinion. I never claimed to be good at impressions.
Well, next Iceman has come out of the pits in P6, and next Aspect has come out in P8, so...
Yeah, well, Joe Burns with those pit stops now finds himself in P4, just under 7 seconds behind City Posh Blue. So, could Joe Burns work his way back onto an FTRL podium?
mean, the man he's going to chase down is City Porsche Blue, and I mean, I'm going to find it hard to see anyone root for Mr. Joe Burns in the chat, because I think everybody wants City Porsche to have a good result.
Well, I don't think anyone's really worried about the race at the moment. Lee Cole's extremely happy he's a spanner.
I mean...
T. Smith's pitting.
Has he got damage from the little bit of contact?
Well, we'll see if they change the wing. No, it's just a set of soft boots.
That seems a very weird strategy to me. As Joe Burns sets fastest lap.
I mean, I'm wondering if T. Smith reckons he can force Deneen's hand.
Well, I mean, T. Smith was very early in the pits for those medium tyres, so as Aspect tries to send it on carts and misses the corner by more than what the braking zone was. I mean, I think he didn't use the brakes, but Cat saw it coming. Oh, Lee coming in with a controversial strategy. Oh! So... Oh, Ron Elson's been given a 5-second play for crossing the pit lane exit.
Which means he's done that more than once tonight.
Took a spike that's picked up a penalty. Sorry. There's a comment.
Just no. I mean, you never know, there might be an instant and I might inadvertently do one. We are known for making strange noises in these streams.
I was going to say, Aspect did it around the outside of Cats, and Cats tried to go back for the inside, but Aspect has held on to the position this time. Those fresh, soft tyres working for the advantage. Well, Joe Burns has got that gap from 6 seconds to 3.5 seconds. He hasn't given up on his title just yet. As we have a question from Mr. Goycarp. Is Joe Burns overrated? He then responds to overrated. So, I'm going to say that yes, Joe Burns is overrated.
I was going to say, popular opinion is yes. Among the FTRL community.
We now have Aaron's missus talking to everybody in the stream chat, so hi Charlotte. Nexus Iceman is on the back of Hijack Gaming now. Soft tyres versus hard tyres. I mean, you'd expect Nexus Iceman to get it done just through tyre change. I think it's 1.6 seconds difference in tyre compounds over one lap, so...
Yeah, Joe Burns in 3 laps has taken 5 seconds out of City Posh Blue. And T. Smith only 5 seconds off of Joe.
On the podium with a penalty is not something you usually see. Deneen with a penalty, that's his second, I believe. I'm not entirely sure where the comment
Hijack's got turn 1 all wrong. Went to defend the inside early and gave himself such a strange angle he ended up going straight on. So made that quite easy for Iceman up into P5.
Well, Mrs. FTRL herself has just given Goycarp the most insatiable burn I've ever seen. Goycarp, sorry I couldn't win this race for you today. It's okay, gay crap. Even I know not to expect that from you anyway. Ouch.
Ouch. Get that man some ice.
Water to burned area. Oh. Well, Joe Burns, 1.1 seconds now. You would think it's only a matter of time.
Yep, Charlotte started on Matt Cause now.
And she has laid. I mean, this roasting session is getting very warm, so... Joe Burns in DRS range now, City Porsche Blue. And T. Smith hasn't really caught Joe that much, so... Well, Aaron's responded saying he's not even in the same room as Charlotte at the moment, so... Joe Burns has DRS, but is using no ERS on this straight, so I'm not looking to get the move down here. So pitch straight maybe. Oh, I think League Call might have just expressed his last word as an admin, judging by the chat. Asking for some dirt on Mr. Aaron Taylor.
Yeah, Matt Cause is still fishing for that wedding invite. He's now asking Charlotte herself.
I have visions of him just turning up outside and just peering in.
Right, here goes Joe on City Posh.
Does indeed. A little bit of a squeeze, but Joe gets the apex. Doesn't overshoot. But he's going to find it very difficult to pull a second before the second DRS straight. And now Aaron's roasting Matt Cause. This is going well tonight, isn't it? I think there's not much going on track besides City Posh trying to come back at Joe Burns. But he had a massive wiggle coming on the straight. However, DRS is pulling him closer, but not close enough to have a lunge. So now, I believe Joe has 1 penalty, and I've seen Deneen pick up 2. Can Joe Burns catch 4 seconds in 4 laps? It's very questionable. I don't think it's possible. Have a yellow flag in sector 2. Rom has gone round again, unfortunately. As comes, will T. Smith catch City Posh Blue?
Well, I'm just looking at that gap, and I think he will.
Oh, especially if City Posh keeps doing that. He got very sideways out of turn 1. I mean, I had to read the question twice because I thought it said Will Smith, and I thought, oh, Will Smith's not in FTRL, but City Posh picks up a penalty.
So the battle for the final podium position is on.
It is indeed. I know T. Smith has 1 penalty, I'm not sure if he has 2, but City Posh definitely needs to pick 1 up. And I don't believe Joe Burns has actually caught him. I think the gap has stayed exactly the same this lap, so...
So I think Joe probably realises that 8 seconds is a bit too much with only 3 laps to go.
I do hope he hasn't killed those tyres, because it is possible to overheat the front left tyre around here. Oh, does I have a hiccup? I mean, I'd love to know the penalty situation, but I'm going to wait to the end of the race and see what actually happened, changes come at the end of this race, because I've definitely seen a few come up, a few more than normal tonight. It is a very easy track to get a penalty at. Well, that Mercedes is gradually getting bigger in that Toro Rosso rearview mirror. Yeah, it's always a little bit easier when you can see the car that you're trying to chase.
I was going to say, what I normally find is the car I'm chasing starts to get closer and then it pulls away as I run out of talent.
I mean, what I find is I never see a car in front of me because they've all pulled away and left me. And I'm just sat there just dreary going around, so...
Well, T. Smith is now within striking distance of City Posh.
I mean, you would expect a move done maybe back straight. I mean, he's in overtake ERS, he's got DRS. Getting in, but it's going to have to be the outside. Oh, can he get the traction on the curb? Looks like he has. Has indeed. T. Smith gets the move done. I mean, City Push did try a fight back on Joe when Joe got passed on the straight. Can he stay within the airframe of T. Smith and give him a fight into the hairpin corner? I'm not sure. He's gaining though.
Well, they're pretty even on battery.
Oh, we got a
big squirm.
Straight. Well, it's still a couple tenths. DRS will close that gap. But have to be outside.
So T. Smith's got the inside well and truly covered.
Bit of contact. City Push going for the switchback, going for the outside.
Yeah, Deneen's increased that gap out in front to 8.5 seconds, so Joe just chilling and content to sit in P2.
He is, but will T. Smith... I don't think he'll close the gap by that much, but City Porsche is not done with yet. He's got at least one more attack on him round the outside at turn 1. Trying the same move that was pulled on him the last lap. Still side by side to start the S's. Oh, City Porsche pulls out of it.
I think T. Smith's just got enough life in that soft tyre to give him the traction out of the slow corner.
Oh, T. Smith's gone! He saved it, but he had everything locked up to try and get it back straight. Oh, City Porsche's gone! What's going on, gents? 2 half spins in 2 corners. Wow. Well, I mean, I can definitely say that before the start of this race, after the qualifying, I didn't expect Mr. Joe Burns to be on the podium this race.
No, and a shout to Nexus Iceman as well, he's got himself a top 5. But going through the final corner, it's going to be Deneen that takes the race win. Joe Burns is going to come through in second. That will give Deneen the championship lead by 1 point. Oh, T. Smith got Joe.
Joe Burns by 11 thousandths. Wow.
Next, Iceman up into P4. City Posh down to P5. So the championship lead for Deneen is now 3 points.
Hijacking aspect. Lead Ferrari through penalties as he jumps hijacked. Next is catch P8 on the podium P9. Rom spun again on the last lap.
Where's hammer time in relation to Rom? Not close enough. Rom will recover that.
No. The question that's being asked is Iceman promoted?
Well, he had to finish in front of T. Smith and hijacked, so no, he's not mathematically confirmed as being up yet.
There you go, Aaron. Well, Joe is very happy that he's come to P3. I'm not sure he'll be so happy when he realises it's 11 thousandths off P2. I shall look at him inviting all three. I mean, T. Smith does usually message because he is usually busy straight after a race, so he can't usually come to the interview, but I'll drop an invite. You never know. Oh, he's here.
Evening.
Afternoon. Well, in theory, everybody's been invited. I know Joe isn't very well, so he might not want to come to the interview, I'm not sure. He can't really speak. But we will try and get him in for an interview. If Joe doesn't end up coming, I'll try and get Iceman in afterwards. Oh, no, Joe is here, even though he's very unwell.
Hello.
See what I mean? Well, that is everybody with us.
Right, sorry, was just doing some arithmetic. So, we'll kick things off with our race winner tonight. We've got Deneen. So, with that, you've just retaken the championship lead heading into the final race. So, just talk us through the race first of all. Good battle with T. Smith early on. And then once you were past him, you were sort of in the clear. And after T. Smith made a surprise decision to pit towards the end. That surprised you?
Yeah, it did surprise me when we went into the pits. I thought, hold on, I'll be back a second. Could you interview someone else? I need to go do something. I'll be back in like 3-4 minutes, I promise.
Okay.
I wasn't ready for that. Okay. We'll go straight to Tom then. Well, I mean, it's not your first podium, but it's probably one of the only times you've been in the interview because you're usually busy. So, but I mean, it did what you could tonight, Paul. I mean, You can't really ask much more from qualifying, can you?
No, it was a scruffy lap. It's normally I've been doing a bit of time trial and practice this week, and I've been half a second quicker, but I kept invalidating. So yeah, I planned to two-stop from the start really because I knew my tyres for some reason. I did a practice lobby about an hour before the race, and the setup I had was just cooking the rears after 6-7 laps on the softs. And even on the mediums, as soon as I put them on, as soon as Deneen was past me, I think I needed span in the first S's because they were just on fire. So it was a sort of pit and try and fight up rather than pit and crash strategy.
Well, I mean, getting to the end is always beneficial. I know that from experience.
It does
But
help.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously the two-stop surprised a lot of people, with most guys doing the one-stop. But I mean, he did come through to just clip past Joe Burns with penalties. I think it was 11 thousandths at the line.
Yeah, I wasn't. To be honest, I didn't expect that one. I had 3 seconds and I hadn't checked what Joe had because I'd only just got past the Toro Rosso on the second last lap, so I didn't have time to ask Jeff what's what. So I sort of given up on that. And again, even on the last lap, we was wheel spinning and sliding through the S's. So it was I don't know what I'd done. I was messing around in time trial, and I think I just put a setup on that was quick that would just oil everything that it touched, to be honest. But I only found out about an hour ago that was the...
Well, I mean, he did everything he could, and promotion isn't mathematically over just yet. There is still a chance. Are you still going to be trying for it this last race at Brazil?
Yeah, I've just got nothing to lose, to be honest. I didn't expect it when sort of me and Hijack were speaking. We got promoted. We were on similar-ish points, and it's too far off, to be honest. It'd take someone else getting unlucky, which they don't deserve, for anyone else to sneak in there now. But no, I like Brazil. We'll have a good race.
Well, I'll say it now because you might not be in the podium interview next week. I mean, you might get a podium, but you're usually busy, so I'll say it now. I mean, your promotion to F2, I believe, has gone very well. I mean, you've shown yourself very well. I mean, podium most week, you got the pace for pole positions. You look home in F2, and all I can say is you've driven very well tonight, and you've driven very well all season. So congrats on that.
Cheers, lads. It's been good fun, as always.
And if we don't see her in the podium interview next week, we'll probably see her at some point next season. So
I'll do my best.
Congrats, Mum.
Cheers, lads.
Are you ready?
So I was just waiting for that noise to die down. Yes, we'll go to Mr. Joseph Burns.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll try not to get you to say too much. Save your voice. So, yeah, we weren't expecting that after we saw your qualifying performance. So, with that, it is going to be a straight shootout next week between you and Deneen for the title. Deneen now having a 3-point advantage, so nothing in it at all, really. How do you feel about Brazil, and are you going to be able to take that fight to him?
No, I wouldn't think so. As you can see, Deneen pretty much wins every week, so I think it's going to be hard to take the fight to him. I just think my quality pace is what lets me down for the race, to be honest. I mean, again, P12 today. Had I been a little bit higher in quality, I might have been able to challenge him a little bit, but I mean, hats off to him. He deserves the title. He's got multiple wins this season and definitely deserves it. So I'll just turn up next week, see what happens. Hopefully he crashes out and I don't, and I just tip it. But yeah, anything can happen. So I'm just gonna drive.
Well, whatever happens next week, you've got the comfort, I guess, of knowing that you will be an F1 driver next season. Your promotion's already confirmed. So, what have you sort of got one eye looking towards next season, or is it just going to be get Brazil out of the way and then worry about that after?
Yeah, just get Brazil out of the way. See how the pre-season race goes, but I mean, as always with F1, it's such a tough league. You've just gotta aim to stay up. I think next season. I think that's obviously my aim. Like I said, it's going to be quite tough, but I'm looking forward to the challenge. Obviously, being in F1 a couple of seasons ago and dropping out, it's good to be back within one season. So look forward to it.
Alright, well, I won't get you to say too much more because I can hear the voices hurting.
Going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So good race tonight, mate, and great fight back through the field.
cheers, pal. Appreciate it.
Now, has Deneen come back?
Yes, I have.
He has, right. So, I've put it to Joe. It's a straight shootout between you two for the title next week. Given the performances of the last couple of races, you're probably going into that race as the favourite. Does that put any pressure on you, or does it not phase you thinking that way?
Well, obviously there's going to be pressure, like, because, it's the final race. I think the gap's only something like 5 points probably, so, if I crash out, then it's not actually going to be a challenge for him to outscore me. So, yeah, it's looking to be a good fight, like, whoever finishes higher. So hopefully one of us doesn't get taken out.
Yeah, well, Joe alluded to the fact that his qualifying performances normally let him down and yours tend to be quite strong. So, with that in mind, a strong qualifying next week is going to put you in pretty good position. So I suppose that's got to be job one, take each session, take it session by session and do the job where you need to do the job.
Yeah, like, obviously we try and get pole position, and then if he's low down the order, then I'm just going to absolutely go for it in the first stint, hopefully then I could have pulled out a gap where I'm safe for the rest of the race and I don't have to push.
Okay, and as I said to Joe, you've also confirmed your promotion to F1 already, so congratulations on that.
Okay.
Yeah, been a brilliant season from you all round. You had some early season bad luck with those punctures, but yeah, you got that straightened out and you've been pretty strong since then, so yeah, good season all round and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
So that does it for round 11. Next week it is the finale in Brazil, and we've got the title to be fought for and the final promotion spot. So heading into Brazil, Deneen leads Joe by 3 points for the title, and that final promotion spot, Iceman currently 17 points clear of T. Smith. So plenty to play for. Plenty of pressure on the guys next week, so join us then for that. And tomorrow we've got the F3 race around the Circuit of the Americas, so join the guys tomorrow night for that stream, same time, this channel. See you then. Goodbye.